I'm here with Dr. Gabeba Baderoon, and we're talking about developing a course schedule. And one of the first questions, or the first question that we have is, what was the most difficult part of creating a course schedule?
I think one is always going to run into the problem of being too ambitious when designing a syllabus at the beginning of a course. And you'll probably find that you've put too much into it at first. So my advice is always going to be to try to work with a course designer and try to pare it down as much as possible, bearing in mind the flow that you want to create in the course of your syllabus, and making sure that the elements are balanced without putting too much into the course schedule.
Did you find it difficult creating a 15-week schedule ahead of time?
I certainly found that it took an enormous amount of work. So it was an investment in terms of the amount of time and the amount of revision that I had to do. But I was very much helped by being able to talk with you and other instructors. So I think always get the advice from people who have taught similar courses in face-to-face residence class settings. And also, if you're fortunate enough to be able to do so, speak to people who've designed online courses in the similar field. So it's going to take an investment of time, and you're probably going to spend some time revising the course schedule as well, but it certainly repays you, because if it's done well, it will run very smoothly in all the times that you run the course.
Okay, that kind of leads us into our next question is, do you think that the course schedule or developing a course schedule helped you to develop your course, and why or why not?
I absolutely felt that a course schedule helped me to refine my course. Firstly, it helped me see the flow that I had designed implicitly through the course. In other words, starting in a way that introduced students to the ideas and the major concepts and the methodologies, and then going through eventually to some of the more challenging tasks and assignments, and then to round off the course in a way that fully tested them, but also left them with a sense of accomplishment. And the course schedule was wonderfully clear and graphic, and showing me exactly what I had placed in what part of the course. It also helped me in that earlier step I mentioned about paring down the course, because it helped show me where I might be loading too much information in one part of the course and perhaps too many assignments in other parts of the course. So it helps you to gain a sense of the structure, but also the need for some elasticity and flexibility in the course. And I think always with online courses, you've done the work, it's ready to run, even without you as the instructor. But nonetheless, I think it's worth bearing in mind that it also is possible to modify and change the course in response to your experience, of actually running it with students.
Okay, good. What advice would you give to new course authors working on a course schedule?
I would say bear in mind that you are going to be trying to balance a number of very good elements. But if you put too many good things in, unfortunately, it's going to be too hard for the students or too hard for you as the instructor. What a course schedule does is create with great clarity a diagram of exactly how you have structured the course and what elements you've placed in it. If your intention is to get the students to learn certain approaches, to learn certain theory, and to be able to achieve well certain assignments, then the course schedule allows you to see whether you've actually put the elements in place to achieve that. Sometimes what you've done actually is to create a course which tests a different set of skills. So the schedule hopefully will lay it out very clearly and briefly, and it also allows you to revise your own aims. I designed an introductory course to the field of African Studies, but I think in the end I had in mind a master's course level, of the same field. And actually seeing the course schedule both from the perspective of an instructor, but also a prospective student. You know, I saw the demands that the course made, and I was able to discuss with other instructors, you know, whether it was a reasonable set of demands for the students, which I think it was, and then also for myself as the person who would inevitably have to respond to student queries, but also to grade the assignments. So again, the schedule is one of those places where you are able to reflect on what you have aimed to do and what you've achieved.
Great, thank you. Just one last question. We have quite a few instructors that are embarking on creating their first online course. Mm-hmm. Any bit of advice that you can give to someone that's just starting this process, thinking about where you were when you started your process and knowing some of the things that you know now?
I think, you know, the first thing to say, it's been an enormously positive experience. It's been positive because of the experience of actually working on designing an intellectually stimulating and demanding and satisfying experience for the students as well as the teacher. Then I think as well it required some adjustment for me, who had taught almost exclusively in a face-to-face setting, to understand how to teach online. So there were many parts of this experience which required me to learn something, and not only to bring my own abilities and knowledge of the area. So if one understands that there's going to be much learning going on, much adaptation and revision of your own notion of how to teach, but that this is all to the good. You know, I in no way did I feel that it was a lesser kind of teaching, or that I was, you know, lessening my standards, or that it wasn't as demanding and interesting for students as it could be in another setting. The way I approached this was to realize that an online version of a course which either does not exist or does exist in a residency setting is allowing students one more possibility for taking a course that they otherwise might not be able to take. So, you know, once I got over my sense that this was not the ideal way to teach students to learn new material and to, you know, learn new methods and to have an interactive and rich learning experience, once I got over that set of assumptions, I was able to really invest myself in the course, and I enjoyed it. And hearing from student feedback, it's also been very gratifying to realize, you know, that it really repays your effort. So if you put some good work into this, I think it can be an interesting experience for an instructor as well.
Great. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.